Welcome to our presentation. This is APEX and Search. I'm Paul Jones and with me today is Craig Sykes and we're from Explorer. First of all, a quick introduction to Explorer for anyone not already familiar. Explorer are an Oracle Platinum partner. We won Partner of the Year award at the UK OUG for the last 3 years running. We have dedicated Oracle teams, all based in the UK, and a Oracle engineered systems practice. Explorer is split into two halves, development, where myself and Craig are from, and database support. In development, we concentrate on developing lots of bespoke applications, both in-house and for clients. We do quite a bit of consulting with various customers, offering them advice and planning and design. We carry out a fair amount of application support and development resource for some of the applications which we develop. We do a lot of educating as well, which this falls into the category of. Carry out a lot of APEX training, workshops and accelerated learning. So who are we? My name is Paul Jones and with me today is Craig Sykes. We have many years experience in Oracle technologies, from PLSQL and forms and reports and APEX, working across various business sectors. We are trainers, speakers, bloggers, consultants and developers, and part of this involves promoting Oracle APEX where possible. So what's on the agenda for today? As mentioned, the title is APEX and Search, so we're going to very quickly define what exactly searching is to take it back to its roots. We're going to have a look at some of the native APEX search techniques you have available within the APEX developer dashboard for your applications. We're going to look at how some of those native APEX search techniques can be customized in order to make them a little bit better. And we're also going to look at integrating your search with an Oracle technology, Oracle Text, and also take a look at implementing your APEX application with an external search technology. So, what is searching? Dictionary.com defines it as to explore or examine in order to discover, which is quite a vague term. When you think about it, searching can actually get very technical and mathematical, and APEX is really all about creating your applications as quickly as possible but making them very functional and usable, and we don't want to get involved in the real nitty-gritty of what can be involved with searching. What are the different types of searching we have available, that are available? There is directory searching, which should be something like a contact management system or phone book type searching. And you also have document searching, Google of which is a good example of document searching because every web page built on HTML is of course of a type document. The use case of why we started looking into search for our application, it was a very large directory of companies and customers, a contact management system. And the customer found the search in the existing application they had very frustrating. It was quite slow, wasn't always bringing back the correct results that they wanted. So we sat down with them in order to define what they wanted from the search in their new application, and pretty much the first thing they said is make it like Google. We're not Google, but we can try and make the search within their APEX application operate a bit like how a lot of users might expect it to. We can give them some better fuzzy search, we can give them dynamic results as they type, and we can also try and make it as fast as possible for them. So I'm going to hand over to my co-presenter Craig, who will take you through some of the native elements that you have available within APEX for searching your dataset in the database.
Okay, so when we're creating an application and want to implement some search, Well, when you want to implement anything, we always try and do it using native Apex components. So when we're looking at search, we obviously want to first of all try and use native Apex regions and items. So first thing we're going to look at, the first thing that comes to mind when we think about search is the interactive report. So we've got one that we set up earlier here, and the interactive report allows you to provide a query and it brings back the whole results set. Then it allows your users to search this results set and filter and highlight and do all sorts of customizations themselves. So in this example, we've got the search bar here, and if I search for Thorntown and press return, that's going to filter down our results, and it's brought back results with Thorntown included in the data. So this works, it's pretty good. There's lots of other options. You can say the user can click this button here to choose what they want to search on, and then go into the actions to filter and highlight and do all sorts of other customizations. Now, when you're thinking about search for your application, this actually might be overkill. The user might literally just want to type into a box and have the results brought back to them. They might not want everything else. So we kind of need to take this back and make it a lot simpler. So the next region that we're going to look at inside Apex is the classic report. So if we click on that here, the classic report doesn't first of all look like it has any searching capabilities. It's just a kind of a physical representation of your results set, and it does allow you to sort, but that's it. The rest of this is just pagination, and you can kind of click through your results here, and this is quite slow because we've got a huge results set coming back. So what we want to do is we want to add search and actually use this classic report to show our search results. So if we go into our application and create a new page, and if we create a classic report, I'm just going to stick with all the default values here, and I'll just pick any table and click through. And what we actually get here on the wizard is there's an enable search option. If we click on the help text, it says it will add search on varchar columns in the query. So that sounds useful. So if we set that to yes and click through the rest of the wizard, it'll give you something like this. It's going to give you a classic report that we saw before, but then it also gives you this search bar at the top. This allows me to do something similar to the interactive report, where I just type in, press go, and I'll get my results back. So I've actually misspelt Thorntown there, so it's brought back results with Thornton in them, and it's actually highlighted where the match is. So if I put Thorntown in, you can see that this is a pretty basic search. It's coming back with just an exact match. There's no fuzzy matching or anything like that. So this is quite a nice search that we've built now with just Apex components and not really any of our own work. We just use the wizards. We can use a few extra Apex components to make this even better. So if we click on the next example, we've actually got a similar looking screen here, but without the go and reset buttons. And if I start typing in here, you see a few things happening. There's an autocomplete box showing us what we might be searching for, and also in the background the results set is dynamically refreshing as we type. Both of these things kind of give the illusion of a Google-esque search without us really having to do any hard work. The autocomplete field, we found it actually reduced the amount of times that the user had to press return and do a search, because the autocomplete was often good enough to give them the correct results. So let's see how we've done this. If we edit the page, to get the autocomplete box, all we've done is we've changed this report search text field. We've changed it to a text field with autocomplete, so that's an inbuilt Apex item. and then we've supplied it a query here, and we're just selecting the company name from our company's table. So that's really simple. And then the second thing we've got is we've got a dynamic action, and it's this key release dynamic action here. So this is on key release of P6 report search. So every time a key is pressed and released, it's going to fire this dynamic action, and that's just going to submit the value of P6 report search and then refresh the report without submitting the page. And that's what gives you this kind of dynamic report refresh in the background. So if you add those two things to your search screen, you can get a really nice looking search with not a great deal of effort. It's not going to do anything fancy with fuzzy searching or anything, but a lot of the time this will satisfy your customer's needs. So I'm going to delve a little bit further into the autocomplete. If we click on this screen here, so the autocomplete, because it's an Apex item, it comes with lots of different options, and we've got 5 fields here, and these fields all use the same Apex item, they just have different settings. So this just searches organisations. If I start typing in there, and that'll bring back these results. We can actually search for organisations and individuals. And you can see there that we've got the individual and also what organisation they're from. This third box here is going to search organisations and individuals, but display the organisations first. So if I start typing, you can see there here it's displayed the organisation first and then the individual afterwards. And we've got this exact match here, so if we search for cable in here, Thorntown cable is not going to show up because it's looking for an exact match on what's been typed. And then we've also got an automatic fill here that's going to fill in what you're typing. It's going to fill in the box with what it suggests you might be looking for. So they're all different kind of ways of getting this box working. So if you have a look at this page, you can see they're all just text field with autocomplete, and they've all just got different settings and different queries. So the first one is this generic query here, just bringing company names back. Second one, we're going to union together 2 queries, the regular query there, and then the customer details. Third one, we've got the same thing except we've added this extra character on the front to make sure all the customers appear after the companies in our results. This one here, this was the exact match. We've actually we can change this setting here to exact and ignore case, and that'll just search for exactly what you're looking for. And the final one, this is using the automatic fill, which we've just turned off. So you can see there, with one Apex item, we've actually created 5 different page items that do completely different things. Okay, so I'm going to pass you back over to Paul now, who's going to show you the recent and top 5 edition.
So, at the same time we were implementing the search, we started looking at other things that can complement your application in order to try and divert the users away from searching within the first place. Now, one of the things you see in quite a lot of different applications is the idea of showing records that you've recently visited and records that you visit quite frequently in order to help the user. So we had a quick go at implementing something like that within our contact management Apex application. Now, we implemented it using the template of having a sidebar here that the user can hide off and show, and just a very simple report here of some of the companies within our database. And if I visit some of these customers, and I could complete some various updates on them, and I'll visit this company here, complete some updates on them, give them a phone call, and I'll visit a different one, coming back, I'll visit that one again and cancel. you can see our data in the right hand sidebar is getting populated. So in the first section we can see the last 5 customers that we visited, and also our top 5 customers that we visited. And we've also implemented a reset button here so that the user can reset their statistics. They may have been working with a particular customer a lot recently, so they'll be quite high in their top 5, but they're not going to work with them anymore. And you can also implement it so they can remove certain ones from their results. And if you implemented this as a page 0 item, then this last and top 5 would be available application wide. So let's have a quick look at how we did that. So what we put in our database was a new table called search recent SIG in this example, and there's just 2 very simple cut down classic reports here that are returning 2 different sets of results from this table, one of which shows the most recently visited, and the other of which, by using a group by, shows the most frequently visited. And you can see it's also dependent upon the particular user that is using the application. And then in order to support and populate that table, we need a process within the page to do that. And if I just show you how we did that, we implemented a post rendering process that just inserted a record into that table, inserting the ID of the customer, the user that visited it, and the date in which they visited it. So after a while that table becomes pretty populated and all the information is in there in order to show the top 5 and recent 5 within the application. And they actually found that incredibly useful. So what have we seen so far? We've seen the things that are available natively within Apex for searching. We've seen the interactive report search, which it's actually pretty good. You can't customize that search box very easily, and the options that are available within the interactive report under the actions menu are very powerful, but dependent upon your user set they can actually be quite confusing for the users. And as Craig mentioned, they just want a search box to type what exactly it is they're looking for and it return what they're looking for. We've shown how in order to customize some of the search results, we actually need to cut back from the interactive report back to a classic report, which gives us our Apex items that we can customize and add Autocomplete to and dynamic actions in order to make the search results screen a little bit more friendly. We've also seen some accompanying functionality that you can add onto your application in order to try and stop the users actually using search at all, but get to the record that they're possibly looking for a lot quicker. But what's missing from this? We're missing fuzzy searching. It's quite common that some company names can be quite complicated, or the user may just be using the application very quickly and mistyping. If you slightly misspell something when you type it in Google, it's quite likely it'll still bring back the thing that it is you're looking for. And also acronyms were an issue. Is that company name in the database stored as something like Marks and Spencer, or is it stored as M&S? The user just doesn't know, and they may find it a bit confusing, and they may add a new customer when that customer already exists but the name is stored slightly differently. We could also try increasing the speed a bit so the user doesn't need to repeat searches, and it's not just the simple query that's running against the dataset using a like or something similar to that, and we can actually try and make that a bit quicker. So the first place we turned to was Oracle Text. Because Oracle Apex is an Oracle product, we should look at what we have available natively within your database. So like Apex, it's licensed as part of your Oracle database, so you don't need to pay for any add-ons, etc. And what Oracle Text does, it allows you to index, search and analyze text and documents that are stored within your Oracle database. You can then search these indexes that Oracle Text has created using slightly customized SQL statements. It also has a further implementation called progressive relaxation, which allows you to slightly relax your search terms gradually in order to bring back further and further results. Now, this isn't a video teaching you how to set up and use Oracle Text. I'd advise you check out the documentation on Oracle's website for it. We were able to get started with it and set it up and start changing our queries for it quite quickly. But we're just going to give you a quick illustration of the type of query that it is you would write after populating your indexes, and then a quick demonstration of it working. So you can see here we have a slightly customized query. We would take our search term that the user has entered and populate it into the customized where clauses in different parts, and then apply a different weighting to those results that come back. And what Oracle Text allows you to do is return a score for that result, and then you would order your returned results by that score in order to give it a higher rating. And Oracle Text works by if it's spelled correctly or give it a much higher rating. But because it gradually relaxes the search and allows different fuzzy matching options, you get some fuzzy results back afterwards. Right, so let's take a look at our demo of this Oracle Text search in operation. So from our classic, again, we've customized a classic report in order to build this query and return the results. And if I spell the company name correctly, the Oracle Text search has been populated and it's brought back our company quite quickly. But if I slightly misspell it, if I put Fonto instead, that would have still worked with a fuzzy match. But if I slightly change the spelling again, you can see that even though I've spelled it quite incorrectly now, quite quickly the search results for our company have actually come back. So let's have a quickly show you how that's working. So we just have a Oracle text field item here, and after the user has entered something and pressed go, an extra region here calls a package on our database that populates that search term and runs the query as per I showed you on the slide. So the advantages of Oracle Text: it integrates seamlessly with your existing SQL. You just need to customize your SQL. It's included within the database, and it's, as I mentioned, if you read through the documentation on Oracle's website, it's quite easy to get started with, and the performance wasn't too bad of it. The disadvantages: quite quickly your queries can start to get very complicated. Acronyms were still a bit of a problem for the Oracle Text if your indexes weren't populated very well, and we found that every time the customer suggested something in which the search could operate differently, we'd have to rework the query, and we could meet that customer's requirement that, dependent upon the type of entry that was put into the box, the correct result came up. But soon our query started to grow very large, and it was starting to slow down, and we were having to monitor the performance of it. But also the other problem was that as the developer we had to do all the work. So we thought there must be other searching technologies out there that we can integrate our APEX application with in order to make it a bit better. So I'll hand over to Craig, who will take you through one of those things that we integrated our application with.
Okay, so we looked outside of Oracle to see what other options are available to us, and we'd noticed that lots of websites and applications do provide really good search, even if they're not Google based. After looking into it, a lot of these seem to use a technology called ElasticSearch. So this is used by lots of large companies. Some examples are Facebook, Netflix and eBay. It allows you to quickly index your data and query that stored data. So it's built on top of Lucene, which is a stable and proven search technology, and it uses JSON document storage in a NoSQL database and includes RESTful APIs to allow you to both index and retrieve JSON data. So you basically pass options and search terms to these APIs and receive the data as JSON. So that's really fast, and it's really easy to integrate with APEX due to the APEX JSON package and the APEX Web Service package. There's also an active community and it's free, which is always good. So here's an example of some of the code we will need to index our data. Because this is a separate database, we need to take the data from our Oracle database and index it in this ElasticSearch database. So this example code loops through our search customers table and it creates a body and passes it to the ElasticSearch web service. This body has got the organization name, and then we've also created some of our own indexes. So we've got an exact search, we've got a trimmed search, it's got rid of some suffixes. We've created an abbreviation index, and we've also added in the Oracle ID and the website. And we can pass those over and they'll get indexed into the Elasticsearch database. Now, because this is a totally separate technology, you can perform any searches that you like and you're not at any point hammering your Oracle database. It's all based outside of Oracle. So that's quite useful. So I'm going to give you an example of this working in one of our demo applications. Okay, so first thing we've got, before I show you this example, there's an add-in for Chrome called Deja Vu, and this allows us to view our Elasticsearch database through a web UI. So I've logged in here and you can see we've got our Oracle IDs here, and we've also got our abbreviation index, our exact search, our Oracle ID again, the organization name, and then a trimmed search. And these are what we're going to use to actually do the searching from Elasticsearch. Okay, so this application here, it brings together a few different of the techniques that we've talked about in this presentation. So we've got the last 5 visited and top 5 visited options on the right hand side, which you can expand and collapse. We've got this search bar here, which is throughout the application. So if I start typing Thorntown, which is the example we've been using, it's going to go off to the Oracle database and it's going to give us some options. So we've got the company there and also the customers underneath. So if we click on the company, it takes us to a details page for that company. So there's a bit of JavaScript doing that. And also, if we don't want to click on that link, we can press the search button and it'll go off to the Elasticsearch database and come back with some options. You can see here Thorntown cable has appeared, but it's not the top result, but it's on that screen. What we can also do is if we search for Thornton cable, that's going to come back with Thorntown cable. And also we can do the abbreviations that we couldn't do with Oracle text very easily, and that's because we've just created our own index. So if we type in TCT there, we've got Thorntown cable as the first result. So that's all working really nicely, so let's have a look and see how we've created this. Okay, so if we have a look in the pre-rendering and check out the organization search, have a look at some of the sample code. What we've done is we've just built up a body to send to the web service, and this is where we're kind of doing a similar thing to Oracle's progressive relaxation. We're including what terms you want to search, and we can add this boost to each of our search terms to say that it's more important or less important than the others. So the first thing we're searching here is the exact search, and that's got the highest boost. Then we're going to go for our abbreviation, and then the first word, and then we're going to do a fuzzy search on the trimmed search. And then finally, once we've done all those, we're just going to do a generic multi-match search that's going to go off and bring back things that might possibly be relevant. So all these options are available to you. You don't have to do the work writing the query. You can just read up the documentation and use these options within your web service calls. So we use Apex Web Service to make the call, and then we use Apex JSON to parse the results. What we're doing is we're just looping through, and we're going to dump all that information into a collection, and then we've just based that report on a collection. So it's a really simple way of doing it, but you can really quickly get external data in your Oracle database, in your Oracle application. If we go back to the presentation, so we've shown you how to do it really quickly and easily there. If you have a look at my colleague Colin Archer's blog and video on web services in Apex, he actually talks you through how to call RESTful web services and display the data in a lot of detail, and he also looks at how to return paginated results. So you can call a huge amount of data in Elasticsearch and just bring back, say, 25 results at a time and paginate through those from an Apex report. So that's really powerful, and it'll allow you to do anything you like and make it super quick. Okay, so I'm just going to pass you back to Paul now. He's going to finish off the presentation.
Hi, okay, so what have we seen today? We've seen the native elements that we've got available within Apex, and we've seen how we can customize some of those native elements in order to make searching a bit better. We've seen how we can integrate with another further Oracle technology, Oracle Text, in order to introduce fuzzy matching to our search results. And we've seen how there's an external search technology out there which, using the Apex Web Service, we can integrate with really quickly and in order to make our search even faster and easily customizable. Okay, so thank you for listening today. There is a link to our website and myself and Craig's email addresses if you have any questions or would like any further queries. Please contact us. Thank you very much.